Merry Christmas, everyone! I decided to stop procrastinating and make another video. This is another DVD review on The Christmas Engines, a festively themed CGI DVD. It was first released on the 14th of October in 2014 in the US, and the 26th of October in the same year in the UK. Strangely though, the Aussies and the Netherlands had to wait until 2016 for them to have a DVD, being released the 2nd and 16th of November respectively. Interesting. I actually own this DVD, and I guess it was special since it came in this collector's sleeve. Nice inclusion. This is what the DVD looks like, and with this out of the way, we can move on to the 5 18th series episodes included. Last Train for Christmas. Holy moly, we are starting off this list with one hell of a banger. This is truly a great episode. Where do I start? I guess with the main story. It is Christmas Eve on Sodor, and it's snowing very hard. All the engines are helping to clear the tracks in preparation for the last train for Christmas. Roll credits. This train is being pulled by Connor, and it is snowing harder and harder into the night. He has to be extra fast and get more coaches for all the extra passengers. He looks for some until the slip coaches materialize out of thin air. Connor races back to the mainland with the slip coaches, but sees that all the engines are still greatly struggling to tackle the snow. So Sir Topham Hatt decides to cancel the last train. He says that there is too much snow and trying to clear the tracks would be pointless as the snow keeps coming down harder and harder. The engines protest and say that they could try to clear the last track, but Diesel says that would be pointless. But Percy reminds the Fat Hat of all the families who still need to get home, and Sir Topham Hatt changes his mind. I like this conversation. It's like the Steamies are Sir Topham Hatt's good conscience and Diesel is his bad conscience. The engines bravely set out to clear the tracks in one final effort. The theme this episode plays is actually really epic, some of the best music from Hartshorn. Then, Percy thinks he sees Santa Claus, but it's actually Harold flying around, so he gets depressed and continues his work. Emily is trying to clear the track to Vickerstown, but is struggling even more as the snow is very deep here. She goes as far as she can up to the bridge, but gives up and moves on to a siding. Then, out of the night, puffing through the snow, Emily hears a whistle and sees Hero, the badass, charging along the rails, obliterating any snow in his path. He is just ahead of Connor, who has picked up the final passengers and is speeding back to Sodor. Hero pulls into the siding and lets Connor race by. He also thinks he sees Santa, but makes the same mistake as Percy. Connor gradually lets the slip coaches go at each station until he reaches Knapford. With the last train delivered, all the engines can go to sleep after the Fat Controller bids them all good night and Merry Christmas. And in the final moments of the episode, we see Father Christmas himself fly in front of the moon. This episode is great, and probably my favorite from CGI. Moving on, because this section is too long already. Long Lost Friend. This episode is okay. The problem is you can't really take it seriously. See, the plot revolves around Gator coming back to Sodor and making a mystery delivery of rock salt to various locations around the island, as the place where it was meant to go was covered in water due to plot convenience. Once Percy is informed of Gator's return, he races around the island, always just short of seeing Gator, who is going from one location to another because each workman at each location thinks the delivery of salt is for another location. Pretty convoluted. As Gator and Percy fail to see each other, they think the other is purposely avoiding them. It sounds silly, and I can confirm it is. I won't talk about it for as long as I did the last episode, simply because I like that one a lot more. This episode is kinda ridiculous and goes on way too long for my liking. The funny part is that Gator says he is here to stay, but this is his last appearance in the series. Poor Percy.
I thought I'd missed you again, Gator. I'm so happy you're back.
Gay!
Duncan the Humbug. Here is another just alright episode. Sadly, it's one of Duncan's 2 roles in the CGI era, although I'm not sure if we should be sad or relieved he only appeared this much. In this episode, Scrooge, Duncan, has gone humbug about Christmas time, although really we shouldn't be surprised he's this grumpy. He does love to grumble about everything. Sometimes his complaints are justified, and other times he's just being a pessimist. The engines of the Skarloey Railway, fed up with Duncan's mood-ruining attitude, tell Mr. Percival, who keeps a fresh coat of paint from Duncan unless he can be cheerful for one day. Duncan does this, and to be honest, it's kinda funny to watch Duncan try not to get pissed at these engines. However, he eventually snaps at Luke, who is struggling to get up a hill. Feeling regret for his rudeness, he helps Luke up the hill, but is disappointed as he won't get a new coat of paint. However, Rusty sees Duncan's good deed and tells Mr. Percival, who does give Duncan his paint. And everything turns out fine. I have to say, Tom Storton does an excellent Scottish accent for Duncan, which makes him fun to listen to sometimes. This episode is also home to this shot, which has no business being as beautiful as it is. It's shots like these that make the episode worth it no matter what it's about. Duck in the water. Yay, fan service! Or what feels like it. I can't tell if this is petty fan service or an actual good duck lead. I'm not the best at reviewing episodes. What is for certain is James. James in this episode begins his downfall in the CGI era. His insufferableness is pretty high here, but it gets much worse. Anyway, after a storm on Sodor, Duck falls in the water, and James is tasked with picking up Rocky to help him. However, James, being an impatient little shit, leaves before Rocky can secure his crane and starts down the line with Rocky swinging about and knocking into things. Rocky knocks over a signal, and inevitable chaos ensues. Sir Topham Hatt gets pissed and yells at James a bit, and James learns his lesson. Yeah, right. Well, this episode is pretty okay, just nothing really that groundbreaking here. Moving on. The Perfect Gift. Here is an episode which stars a character who isn't seen much. Reg, the scrapyard crane. In this episode, Percy thinks he knows what his friends want and tries to force Christmas spirit upon Reg in the scrapyard, only for him to reject it and say that he is happy the way he is. Percy's very kind to go out of his way to help Reg, but he should have listened to his wishes. Although I do think it's weird that Reg doesn't want any festivity. I mean, this place is literally where everything goes to die. How can he be happy here? Otherwise, it's just a pretty regular episode. Nothing much to say, although I do like Reg's scrap tree. Pretty cool. That's it for the episode of this DVD. They aren't very unique or groundbreaking, but they are mostly good. Now we'll discuss the intermission segments. First, there was a Calling All Engines segment featuring Toby and Henry, the Earl's Quiz with 2 questions about No Snow for Thomas and Merry Winter Wish, Mr. Perkins' story time with the story being A Scarf for Percy, and a postcard of Tidmouth Sheds. In the bonus features, there was a sing-along song of It's Christmas Time, a great song with rather uncreative lyrics, and 3 Guess Who puzzles of Percy, Duncan, and Connor. I think that just about does it for this DVD. If you like the newer CGI era, especially seasons 17 and 18, this DVD is for you. I want to thank you all for watching this video and wish you Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Until next time,